Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you all had a fantastic week. So, I'm going live a little bit different right now. I'm going live in StreamYard. So, it's hard for me to see you guys. So, you do have to, as you join in, you do have to hashtag I am here and drop your name in the comments so I can see who you are. And remember, if you watch this on a replay, hashtag replay and let me know that you tuned in. So today, my hot topic is food. Like, have you ever felt who in here, and I want you to raise your hand if you're watching me currently or if you're watching it on the replay, who in here has ever felt that food has more control over you than you do over it? I know I do. I've been there. I still go there sometimes. So if this is you, raise your hand in the comments, drop me some fire, because we are going to talk about that shit today and how to take your power back when it comes to impulse eating. I see I've got one viewer this morning. Drop your name. Let me know who you are, who's joining me. So I can, and I don't have my phone with me here to tag anybody. So I'm just going to have to trust the fact that you guys come on in. All right. So as we are talking about this, it's really important, guys, to learn to control your environment. A lot of times what I talk to those of you that are actually in my tribe, clients of mine, you hear me talk to you about this. And it's really about controlling your environment. The way that we have really been brought up, how most of us have grown up. Oh my goodness, excuse me. I have a frog in my throat today. Food is a very emotional thing. We tend to attach food to emotion. So if you think about it, if we're happy, we eat. If we're sad, we eat. If we have certain things that we do that trigger us to want to eat, it could be late night after work. We come home, we're stressed, we sit down, we watch television, and we grab a bag of chips and dip our hand into it, and we mindlessly start eating. Could be due to stress, habit, whatever, but it's a trigger. So there's lots of things in our environment that cause impulse eating. And again, guys, I see some of you popping in here. Make sure you hashtag I am here, drop your name in here. And if you watch this on the replay, hashtag replay. But if you've experienced this before, like I said, it is totally possible to take your power back. In fact, it's super empowering to yourself when you learn to take that power back, when you learn to recognize these triggers and environments, like in the environment that you're in. Hey, Lisa. And you're able to take action against it and take that control back. So we're going to talk about 3 different types of environments and how you can start to take a little bit of control back when it comes to these environments, and controlling like your habits, like in taking that power back. So we're going to talk about the environment at home, which is the most important, work and social settings. So every action you take right now, guys, so for those of you that are on a fitness journey, a health journey, you're trying to make changes in your life, there's where you're at right now and there's where you want to be, right? You want to gain muscle and lose body fat. You're looking to evolve to a new version of yourself. You're trying to make these changes. And remember one thing, guys, like this higher, where you want to be, it's important to hold that in your vision on a daily basis, to really see that person as already existing. Know what that person looks like, what that person is wearing, how she feels, who she's with. Like, envision yourself, first of all, already there. That number one is a huge game changer. Don't look at it as something that you will be. Look at it as something that you already are, that you're evolving into. So that action alone can make a huge shift, because every action that you make currently, guys, is a vote for that future person. So what I mean by that is every action you take is a vote for that person. So it's about, kind of, I like to say, I said this to somebody in one of their check-ins this week: stop, drop, and roll. So like, when you go to pick up that food or whatever that might be that maybe doesn't fit currently into your plan, your journey, where you're at, stop, drop, and roll. Okay. Like, no matter where you are, work, social medias, like, and what I mean by that is, remember, every action you take right now is a step or a vote for that goal, that future person that you're looking to be, that you know that is attainable and there. Does that make sense, guys? So, is this action really going to help get me there? If it's not, drop it. Make sense? Stop, drop, and roll. I think they came back to me and said, stop, drop, and run. So let's talk about this. So the number one thing, hey Lisa, you can do is, what we're talking about right now is, in the environment, there's several things that will trigger you, and it's based off of habit. There's this whole bucket of shit over here. I like to talk about it, that you have made a decision to leave. Okay. There's things that you don't like about your current position, your current, the way that you feel, you look, where you are at right now. And you've made a very conscious decision to make a change, because this over here, this bucket, is full of things that you aspire to be, right? And are going to be. You have this vision of this girl with this kick-ass fucking body that has a great shape, has muscles in all the right places, low body fat, kicking metabolism, is confident, loves herself, and the whole shebang, right? Over here, we're leaving that low energy, doesn't feel good, sluggish, stressed out all the time. The reflection in the mirror isn't exactly what she wants to see. Her clothes aren't fitting the way she wants to, and she's just not feeling confident. You made that decision, right? So that person over here has triggers that got you there. So triggers that, and that's what we're talking about. There's things that are automatically going to have you wanting to reach for certain foods, things, there's habits. So we have to change that. The number one thing that you can do is change your environment at home. It's a simple one to do. If you are new to my tribe, listen up. If you're hanging out in this Facebook group and you're looking for some ideas, listen up. Because the first thing that you need to do before you go grocery shopping, before you pick up a weight, before you do anything, is clear out your house. Throw everything away in your home that is not conducive to your new goal. What do I mean by that? Processed foods, junk food, candy, shit that is going to be a trigger to you. Get rid of it. Don't have it around, because that temptation is just going to make your new journey that much more difficult. So let's take what's coming up right now, Halloween. I've had this conversation with some of the girls in the tribe. Everybody here, Halloween is coming up. You buy candy, you give it out to the trick-or-treaters. I get that that is something that you have to do. You're a mom, you live in a, maybe I'm lucky. I don't live in a neighborhood that has a lot of kids, but I have before. And so trick or treating is coming up. One, you can be a Scrooge and turn all your lights off, but that's probably not an option. Two, don't buy candy, guys, that is your favorite. If you freaking love Kit Kats or Reese's peanut butter cups, for the love of God, do not buy those to give out to the trick or treaters because you know what's going to happen. Go buy the bag of candy that you don't like, and you know what that is because I bought it every year. It's full of all those like little candies that you don't like. I don't know, those licorices and dots and things like that. Maybe you do like those. Get that bag. Those kids don't care. They just want candy. They want to go out and trick or treat. Or better yet, go get them some protein bars. I did that one year. Go get some bags of pretzels or something, that is, I don't know, but don't get something that's going to trigger you guys. Make sense? Now, let's take that a step further. Like I said, you need to throw everything out in your house. So if you're constantly sitting on the couch snacking on a bag of chips, get rid of all the chips. If you have a weakness for, as I said, some type of candy, M&Ms, whatever, if that's in your pantry, throw it out. If you absolutely love peanut butter, you may need to toss it, and then you may need to have a conversation with me if I'm your coach and I have it in your meal plan. But whatever is something that is tempting to you, get rid of it. Clean out your house. And speaking of that, like I have to do that too. I go through phases that even healthier foods trigger me, okay? Like even healthier foods. And if I have them in my house, I will lean into them and eat too many of them if I'm in some certain situations. So I too, like there have been times where I have literally during a prep, when things can get a little bit stressful for me because as I'm prepping for a competition, more and more things will get taken away from me. My diet gets dialed in, right? There have been times where I've actually called my coach and said, you got to take the almond butter out of my meal plan and find a different fat. Like you got to do it. Because if that jar of almond butter is in my pantry, I will devour it. And I know that. So I recognize about that myself, and in the trash it goes. Like I got rid of it. So you're going to have to figure out a different fat to give me. So just getting rid of those triggers is going to be the first step in controlling your environment at home. Get rid of any temptation. Fill your refrigerator full of foods that are actually conducive to your journey. Foods that if you're on a meal plan, that's what you want to fill, your pantry with. If find yourself snacking, make sure you've got cucumbers, things in your refrigerator that you can snack on without feeling guilty. Like cucumbers are my number one go-to. I love those things. And I'll slice them up and keep them in my refrigerator. And I use them for all types of things. Like I will use them as chips for salsa. Like I put salt and pepper on them. Sometimes I will pickle them, things like that. And I will so then if I ever because I like to crunch, I don't necessarily have a sweet tooth. I like to crunch. So those cucumbers give me that crunch aspect. However, I'm not detouring from my plant. So think about things like that. All right. Other things that, you can do. Not the best, but you can look at things like, oh, I know another one. Eggplants. Like you can dice those up like really thin, put them in the air fryer and make eggplant chips if you like a crunch. Now they do have, a little bit of a caloric value to them, but they're not going to be, terrible. Make some kale chips, salt and pepper them. Have fruits in your, refrigerator. Now, obviously you can overeat on those and we shouldn't be leaning into them as snacks specifically. They have a caloric value to them. We have to remember that. but keeping things in your pantry, your refrigerator that are more conducive to your meal plan. Number two, eating more frequently, guys. Eat more frequently and eat more protein. So if you're listening to this and you're not currently in the tribe, with myself and the rest, and you're just listening in, and maybe you're like just trying to do a little bit of this on your own, eat more protein. Make sure you have protein with every single meal. It will keep you full and satiated and less likely to want to reach for something. Eat more frequently. This will give you the feeling that you are snacking. Try to eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. Drink your water. This isn't water, but drink your water. Listen, guys, dehydration often masks itself as hunger. Yes, if you are dehydrated, you will feel hungry. Drink your water. Drink your water, 120 ounces a day. So controlling that environment. Another thing to think about when it comes to environments, specifically, I'm still talking about home, is when we first start out on a journey, we generally have a lot of momentum, right? And a lot of motivation. But motivation, guys, is fleeting. And that's where discipline comes in. And that's where this impulse eating can be really hard, right? And we're trying to create this discipline and structure. So getting rid of temptation, number one, important in your environment. Number two, recognizing acts that cause an action that isn't conducive to your current goals. What do I mean by that? If you're like, hey, Jules, every evening I get this really strong urge to snack. Well, are you hungry? Maybe you're not eating enough. No, I'm not hungry. So that's the first step. You need to identify, am I hungry? Like, first of all, find this out. Like, what am I doing right now? That's number two. Oh, well, Jules, I'm sitting on the television watching TV. Okay. Is this something that you used to do or that you've always done? Yes. And what have you always done prior to this point when you've sat down and watched television? Ate a bag of chips, had a glass of wine, drank wine, ate chips. That, guys, is what I call a trigger. So now you've identified, oh shit, this action causes a trigger in my brain to say, I want chips. I want this. Replace that action with something else. So now you've identified it. So now instead of coming home from work, sitting down on the television and sitting down on the couch and turning on the television, do something different. Do something different. Take a bath, read a book, go for a walk, change it up. Let's face it, you were sitting on the couch eating the bag of chips, watching television to de-stress from your day, to chill out. There are several other ways that are actually even better for you to relax, to come down, to wind down. So that's just an example of changing your environment. Makes sense? If that makes sense, guys, drop me some frickin' fire. I know there's just a few of you guys in here, but again, like I said, hashtag I am here. If you watch this on the replay, which I hope you do, because I get this all the time, not just from those of you in the tribe, those of you here in the Facebook group. I get DMs all the time on social media. I know this is a hot topic, so make sure that you hashtag replay if you come in here after. And let me know that you're tuning in. So if this has been helpful, drop some fire. All right, number 2, let's talk about work. All right, I get this a lot too. I go into work. I've got teachers, I've got people that work in big corporate environments. I get it. You have meetings, right? You have luncheons, you have events with clients, and all of this shit is around you, right? Jesus Christ, what am I supposed to do? So, like in the lunchroom, let's just say there's a lunchroom that you go to, and there's always things in there. Or you're going to like meetings. Here's the thing, like with the lunchroom, I get it. I've been in this situation before. Be the change, okay? It's going to be tough in the beginning, but be the change. Start changing up what's in there. Start being the person that brings a bowl of fruit versus a bag of candy. Start being the person that leaves some, like, granted, you're like, Jules, they're going to think I'm crazy, that leaves diced up cucumbers in the refrigerator to snack on. Be the person, like I said, that brings some berries, some fruit, some veggies, different things to snack on that are a little bit more conducive to your goals. Does that mean you snack on it? No, but that might help to eliminate some of the temptation that's going on. Now, I get that in the beginning you can't control that. So maybe going to the lunchroom and eating the lunch might not be the best environment for you to be in right away. Maybe you need to go for a walk and go find someplace else to take your lunch and have it someplace else. Sometimes that can even be peaceful. It's a nice little state change to get away. When it comes to, like events and like big luncheons, bring your own things so you do feel involved. So if there's a luncheon going on, and you just politely like let them know, like, hey, I'm not going to be participating because, or partaking in eating, so you can, don't have to order any food for me. I'm going to actually come with my own. I know you guys are having tacos, but I've got this, I'm on this new journey, and I'm actually going to, I'm going to join in with you. I'm just going to bring my own tacos, and then create and bring a nice healthy version of what they're happening. Sit down, socialize with them, and eat according to your journey, not the environment controlling your journey. So you control it. You take back your power and can control that environment. It's very empowering to know that you can do this. Not to mention, guys, I promise you, nobody gives a shit. In fact, they probably will look up to you for doing this, and you're going to start to make a shift in your workplace environment. You will. Like, listen, let me tell you a little story. So a lot of my stories revolve around prep because I was actually, when I was in my corporate world, the last 5 years that I was in there, I wasn't just on a fitness journey and a health journey. I also started competing as a competitive bodybuilder in the MPC division. So most of the time I was cutting or, getting ready to go on stage, or I was in, more of a maintenance stage, but those I was in and out of it the entire time. So I was always on a meal plan. I still am, to be honest with you. So when I first started, I'll never forget this. I was sitting in a huge meeting, and it was actually like a couple of days into this role. I think I had just taken over the role of the VP of field education. And so like, I'm kind of new. I had come from a different brand. I was new to this brand, new people, new environment. I knew the general manager that had hired me, but everybody else was new. So I'm a little nervous, right? Well, first of all, my freaking food alarm goes off, right? And I'm like, oh shit, sorry. And I have a big pink backpack with all my food in it. And so I'm looking around and I'm like, shit, I got to do this because I'm going to be here for another freaking hour and it's time to eat. So I reach down and I think to myself, all right, I'm just going to have a shake. I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm just going to drink my shake because I was super nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. So I picked up my shake, kind of shook it up, made it, started drinking my shake. And I'll never forget, I could see the eyes turning in on me. And, the meeting kept going. General manager kind of gave me a smirk. And you know what? It wasn't that bad. It didn't matter. We went to lunch. I had my own lunch. And what happened over time is, one, I realized I was telling myself a story about how the outside environment was going to feel about me and my journey versus me taking my power back and controlling the situation. So, first of all, my number one lesson was don't put a story in, like my story, into somebody else's head. Don't assume that somebody is thinking something because they may not be. That's us assuming. Number two, like, it's my life. Like, take control of it. What I soon discovered, guys, is I got picked on in the beginning. People would say, oh, there's Jules and her meal, or what are you eating now? Or, like there was a little bit of picking. But then after a while, it became kind of humorous. I would walk into a meeting and somebody would say, well, here comes Jules with her food. Then if I didn't walk in with food, they'd be like, girl, something wrong with you? Like, why do you not have a food in your mouth? I mean, we would go to big meetings, guys, and my general manager, no joke, would walk into a meeting with a huge company and she'd be like, my VP of field education is coming in behind me. She's going to have this big pink backpack. Her food alarm is going to go off probably a couple of times while we're here because, she eats every 3 hours. She very well may pull out some very cold, stinky fish that she's going to eat. Now, granted, this isn't all of you guys, but understand this was me. And nobody cared. They laughed about it. Because you know what the next thing was out of their mouth? Well, that's why she looks like that. Because she's not eating this shit. So let that be a lesson. So that's kind of like, and the same thing, guys, kind of spills into social environments. So we're coming on the holidays, right? We're coming in on the holidays and holy shit, there's going to be a lot of social events. Well, number one thing is the same thing, guys, but go into these, first of all, plan. Think about all the events you have. Put them in your calendar, be aware of them, make thoughtful decisions around them. Plan ahead. Plan, know when the events are. Can you eat prior to an event so you feel fuller and are less likely to want to take in any of the foods that may not be applicable to your plan, right? Number two, don't deprive yourself, okay, specifically during the holidays. If there's a certain event going on and you know that every time that you go to this family event, there is Aunt Susan's pumpkin pie, and holy shit, like you look forward to that every year, don't freaking deprive yourself of it. Have a bite of it. Because if you don't deprive yourself of it, you will probably have a bite of it. But make sure you eat prior to going. And the same thing applies to everything else that's around. Every action is a vote for your future self. So if you pick up the apple pie, but you don't really like apple pie, don't eat it just because it's there. But if the pumpkin pie is something that you think about all year long, take a sliver of it. Have it. Number two, set yourself up for success, specifically if it's family. Let the host know that you're on a health journey. Call ahead. Let them know. Don't feel bad about it. Some of them are going to be like, oh, whoa, okay, that's cool. And hey, listen, I just want to let you know that I'm not going to be eating a whole lot there. Kind of the same thing we talked about with work. I'm going to be bringing my own food, or I'm going to be eating ahead of time because I'm on this journey and it's really important to me. That's cool. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm going to probably be drinking some seltzer water. I may have one cocktail, but I'm really just going to be. So, this sets the environment for people not to be pushing on you things that are going to make you uncomfortable and want to participate. Set yourself up for success. So, call ahead, let them know. Listen, I want to be, you can have fun sipping on your seltzer. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy one cocktail. Think about avoiding sugar when it comes to cocktails. Keep them very clean. But you don't have to go crazy. Make sense? If you enjoy the glass of wine at that family holiday dinner, have the glass of wine because it's something you look forward to. But that doesn't mean you have to have two, three, four, five. Ask yourself, do I really want these? Because I guarantee you that one glass of wine is really all you want. Everything else is just because. So, anyway, these are just some tips. So, again, number one, guys, when it comes to your home, the biggest thing that you can do, get rid of all the junk. Get rid of it. Empty your house out. Don't leave anything to temptation. Number two, identify triggers and change the state. Change what you're doing. So, an example that I gave was I get snacky every night. What are you doing at that point in time that you get snacky? Okay? And that's what I get, snacky, whatever you want to call it. Are you watching television? What is it? And I say television because 90% of the time that's what it is. And then you need to change that action up. Why are you watching the television? Well, I'm watching television because I just want to sit down and chill for a while. It's been a busy ass day. I've been running my ass off. And I'm just sitting here numbly watching the television because you know what? It just relaxes me. Listen, I've been there. I know that. So, what can you do differently? Because that action of watching the television is triggering an old habit that you used to do. So, that's number two. So, change the action, read a book, take a bath, go for a walk, whatever. Work. Learn to work and social both. Learn to set yourself up for success. All right. Like, again, with the work, maybe you don't eat in the lunchroom if it's full of shit right now. Also, be the change. Start leaving healthier snacks around. Watch the environment shift. Be the example. Tell people ahead of time that you're on this journey, that they don't have to order food for you because you're bringing your own. Pretty soon, you know what's going to happen? They're going to be like, hey, Lisa, I know you're on this journey and we're having a luncheon and I really want you to be involved. What is it that you eat? What can we order? Holy shit, you just took your power back. Now you're helping the whole environment. So, and then the other thing about the work situation or even social situations, don't project other people's opinions of you out there. In other words, don't put a story in your head that you feel somebody else is saying out there. Yes, Lisa, it works. I'm sure. Like, you've done it. Right. Exactly. It works. You can change or shift an environment that you're in. Absolutely. But take control of that situation, guys. Take control of it. Be that change. And don't put that story out there because you don't know what that other person is thinking. That's you assuming it. And just take action and do it. And don't stress about it. Be that good, be the change. And the same with the social, specifically with things that are coming up. Like now I'm specifically talking about those holidays, making sure that, you really plan this stuff out, guys. Plan it out. Know where your events are. Where is there something? There's certain events that you're probably just not going to give a shit about. There's nothing there that you want to eat. There's nothing there that, so plan on just showing up. Eat before you go. Make sure you have food to eat after. And so now you're full. So you don't have the desire to eat anything. And again, like I said, you can always be telling the host that you're coming, that you're on this journey. It's not rude to do that. All you're doing is letting them know, hey, you don't have to make any food for me because blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be bringing my own, or I'm going to eat before. I'm going to be there. I'm going to enjoy. That doesn't mean you're not going to be any more social. And during the holidays, if there is that specific event where Aunt Sally makes pumpkin pie, and man, you fricking look forward that from, you know, December to December. Like you just cannot wait until you go to this specific holiday event where Aunt Sally makes her pumpkin pie. Well, Jesus Christ, have the damn shit. Have it. Have a slice of it. Have a sliver. You know, and satisfy it. Don't like, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't restrict yourself from that. But then again, don't be eating shit you don't want. So, like, you know, the apple fritter's sitting there and you really don't give a shit about it. Don't eat it just because it's there. See the difference? All right, guys. Drop me some frickin' fire in here if this was helpful to you. But learn to take that power back, guys. You can have control over the food versus the food having control over you. Remember, every action you take today is a vote towards your future self. And taking this power back can be super, super, super powerful and feel really, that's the word I'm looking for, very empowering. So have a fantastic weekend. Happy Halloween. And oh yeah, I cannot wait to see the costumes in here, by the way, for Halloween. I'm going to be looking forward to them. Have a great day. Peace out.